our democracy, I think, took a hit.
Mm.
I truly do think that they took a hit. I think we took a hit and stepped backwards in life in this country. And I think it's I told Smitty, because Smitty's young in this thing, you're fairly close in age. And as I get older, I start to look into more politics because it affects my money, my dollar, my investments, my properties. And when you get older, when you're younger, when I was 30, I could give a fuck less about politics. But now that you look at this administration and you see the things that are happening, there's no denying child trafficking is at an all-time cliff. There's no denying it. And I believe one of these guys running for president, which was in a trial yesterday that got convicted of something I think is laughable, versus the other administration who's currently in office. And there's a reason why this is out like that. Ukraine is literally the number one child trafficking country in the world. And no one wants to talk about it. And we're funding them. Now, are we funding them for that reason? No, I don't know. But the bottom line is the administration as a whole is what I was telling and explaining to Smitty is if you back that administration so heartily and wholeheartedly, and you really think this administration is it, I think there's some delusion. That's all I say. I'm like, you don't have to vote for Trump. You don't have to vote for anybody. All I'm saying is this current administration is clearly pushing one gender to be able to get rid of certain parts and without parental guidance or parental rights. I've never seen that in my life, 48 years. Another guy who wants to be the president is going against it, and that's why they don't want him in there. And then you got a guy who's funding other nations when we have a huge issue with our own veterans. I think that is an administrative issue, and that is what my whole part was.
But here's what I'll say, and you made all very good points there. That has nothing to do with this trial, though, and that's I agree. I agree with you that.
But does it? But sure. Does it?
And if Donald Trump is reelected president, I'm sure he's going to make, like Biden did, a very strong move and hoping to get some sort of criminal case against Joe Biden and his family. That said, I agree, though, that Donald Trump was not awarded a fair trial, in my opinion.
Oh,
okay.
I've never seen it. I like it.
I mean, to put that venue in New York City, which is arguably the most strong Democratic stronghold in America, with 12 people of his peers that cannot be, they're biased. I mean, they just are.
Where he's hated at, by the way, and Trump, all the New York money that he's got there, he's hated in New York because of some things he's done.
It would be very hard for him to get a fair trial anywhere. That said, we have to understand the DA, Alvin Bragg, is a funded Democrat. Okay. He's a guy who they handpicked, right? They handpicked. The city is all Democrat. I think in the last presidential election, it was like 6% Republican, which is insane. You just can't have a fair trial. That said, if you look at the case itself, yes, Donald Trump had sex with a porn star. He then paid her hush money, which who cares, right? However, he, according to them, deceived voters by not disclosing that he was doing it. And then he tried to falsify that it happened through the hush money. That said, the main witness in this case, Michael Cohen, is a convicted criminal and disbarred attorney who spent time in prison. And that, to me, is a bigger, major issue we have, that we accept the testimony of bad people that have committed a lot worse crime. And listen, I deal with it all the time in the mafia world, right, with the mob genre. Sammy the Bull Gravano was convicted and taking part in 19 murders. 19. And because the government hated John Gotti more than him, they were willing to hear what Sammy the Bull said and painted him as this hero, then let him out of prison. He then reoffended and sold ecstasy to children. They gave him another slap in the wrist, and he's now on YouTube talking about all of it. And the thought is, why are we trusting these types of people? Michael Cohen is a slime ball. And how is he believable at any level? And that's also, I think, and that's a major issue with the whole informant thing.
Yeah.
When do we stop?
And Jeff, you are very well in tune with the courts and how the legal systems work, and I know a lot about it as well, as far as a young knucklehead that had to go through that and understand it. I've actually defended myself in trial without an attorney and whipped the shit out of an attorney. By the way, yeah, one of my favorite things in life that I've ever done. I was at that motherfucker literally
had your notes and shit, like you did your research.
But I was literally fucking when the
Your Honor.
Now I'm saying when the lawyer was going against me and bringing up all this shit, and I'd be up there Jeff, what do lawyers say? Like, you either say to not allow it.
Yeah,
what do the lawyers say, Jeff? The counter lawyer. What do they say?
Not admissible.
Yeah, but no, but what is their
objection?
Term? Yeah, I said object more times, dog, and the judge went with me, homie.
Not a strong idea. I would highly advise anybody that gets in trouble, get a lawyer.
Get a lawyer. Yeah, this wasn't a big Jeff. This wasn't like the 8 felonies I was facing. This wasn't that. This was a bullshit civil deal.
JB is an anomaly. He's a little different.
Hey, this was a bullshit civil deal, Jeff, where I could give a fuck less if I lost. But I swear to God, it was unbelievable. And then I talked shit to the broad's attorney, who she hired when I was smoking a stick in the lack driving off. But look, here's the thing. You know better than anyone. The number one thing that I want to bring that up, though, is we have the right to a fair trial.
Sure.
And if it's not a fair trial, you can appeal that with your attorney in that courthouse, in that city, and say, we don't feel that this is a fair trial. And that is what I don't understand happened in New York. And this is why I don't understand what happened in the appeal process of a fair trial.
Here's one thing, too, that I didn't think that made sense about this trial. If you look at yesterday, before they had a verdict, the judge said, we're good. Everybody go home. And then all of a sudden, oh, wait, hold on. I messed up. We have a verdict. And it's almost like it was decided already. Like it's a very weird thing. Look, here's where Trump, I think, continuously falls off the wagon. Everything is never his fault, right? It's always a witch hunt, which this could have been, surely. That said, nothing that he brings up, like the border has nothing to do with your case. It just doesn't. Like, it has nothing to do with it. Now, he did make a point of this is a city that is notoriously not prosecuting criminals. And what I find really interesting is literally outside that building, there are people that are committing crimes on a regular basis and won't be convicted of a crime.
Well, the same judge, though, that convicted him yesterday is the same judge that let the fucking foreigner that beat up the cops in New York off.
Well, and that's where I think if we're looking at it from a big standpoint of like America as a whole, that's where you really have to ask yourself, what are we doing here? This is obviously a rich person problem, paying off a hooker so she doesn't.
Right. Everyday folks do not have these problems.
But in terms of an election, this guy was running for president. It is probably something people should know. And it could have affected the outcome of that election. That said, everything Donald Trump said in that 2-minute speech that you're showing the photo of, he wasn't wrong, but it doesn't really have that much of a bearing on.
Well, you know why I believe he's brought it up and why his attorney brought it up is the fact that I believe that we're seeing some things right now as to why get rid of the biggest, most popular human on earth, Donald Trump, get him out the way so
but
that
that's not going to happen. This is going to help Donald Trump.
No, I get that part, but my point is this: like, Bailey, can you show the video again? I don't know if you knew this. My brother is in the Air Force. Told me 2 days ago that the other one about the Ukraine Russia. My brother told me the other day, and I told Weddle and Smitty and Bailey. I said, "Hey, dog, something's going on," because he was supposed to make an announcement the day of the jury trial, which was yesterday. He did not, but he has secretly gave Ukraine permission to strike inside Russia with our weapons. That is a declare of war. By definition, dog, we have a bigger problem here. So if you get the eyes off the big issue and focus them on a big name guy like Donald Trump, then nobody knows what's going on and everyone's just saying, fuck it. Some of the bigger things going on, Jeff, I think.
Here's the problem, though. It's not working because CNN has not gotten off this story since the verdict came in, and they read.
No. I think that's two different things, though. I think that the sole attack on this conviction was to get us off of what's really going on. I don't believe that's happening. I don't believe it's. I think it's helping Donald Trump win the presidency.
Listen, here's the thing.
That's the difference.
At the end of the day, though, this will strengthen Donald Trump's political case.
Now,
it is conceivable that Donald Trump may win the presidency while in Rikers Island. That's insane.
Bottom line is he can't go to Rikers Island.
No, he's not going to go to prison.
Yeah, I know, but constitutionally speaking, he technically could though.
No, he can't. No, he can't. Constitutionally speaking, that's what I'm telling y'all.
No, I'm saying he could be in jail. I'm saying he could be in prison and become the president.
No, he can't.
Yes, he can.
No. We're saying two things.
I think we're saying different things right now.
Yeah, we're saying two different. You're both right. He can become the president convicted. He can become the president.
Right.
He cannot go to prison.
Why can't he?
Because he is Secret Service protected the rest of his life.
But listen, this is the truth. This is the truth of the matter. Donald Trump absolutely can go to prison. And what would happen in this case, because we've never seen it happen before, the Secret Service would protect him in prison, and the COs would protect. Look it up. That's what's.
I already have. Trust me, I already have. His prison would be at his home residence.
No. Coach, he would go. He is not, bro. He is not.
Bro, he's not going to Rikers Island.
We already had meetings about it. The Secret Service would be there as well, outside his cell, and they would protect him. Look it up, bro.
I know that, but I think you're reading jail is actually in his own place of living.
That's house arrest. He does not get special treatment because he's the fucking president.
Yeah, he does. All ex-sitting presidents do. No. Special treatment is having your own security in jail. What do you mean? That's pretty special, bro. That's pretty special. Well, anyway, Jeff, break down this. He's going to appeal this.
Oh,
correct? Yeah. It's already probably been.
He's a decent opportunity here.
No doubt. But it's got to get out of this guy. He's got to get away from this fucking judge. And that's the problem. All
we'll say here is, at the end of the day, this is going to strengthen him politically. It ain't going to hurt him.
Hey, Jeff, Jeff, I'm telling you, and not to cut you off. I said on this show, because Pat Perez told me some things. Pat and him are tight. So is John Daly and him. He said the goal is to get the presidency while in jail or convicted and pardon himself.
Right. Yeah, but remember.
That shit'll be classic. We're the shit show. We're the biggest shit show ever.
But I don't believe he can pardon himself. This isn't a federal case. This is a state case. So I don't believe he can pardon himself in a don't quote me on that, but I don't believe he can pardon himself in a state case.
Yeah,
if it was a federal case.
I think because it's still a conviction. I think he can pardon a conviction. So I don't know. I don't know how that would work. Let's dive into some sports. We got the best capper on the business, and then we got Big Smitty. Let's dive into our 32 quarterbacks, Jeff. I don't know if you've been paying attention. We broke down our top 10 AFC, top 10 NFC quarterbacks this year.
Hey, Coach, real quick, can I just say one thing? Not to keep talking about this, just real quick. Yeah. This is from CBS News. If Trump faces more than 1 year in jail, New York law requires that his sentence be served in a New York penal facility. But if his sentence is shorter than a year, it would be served in a New York City correctional center, such as Rikers Island.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now, hear me out. Again, I don't think he's going to be sent to prison. I think that's crazy. But if you look at his case, his minimum could be, he could get 20 years. That's possible. I don't think it will happen. But I thought this original attack on him was civil, though. It wasn't criminal. That's what a lot of people thought. I was blown away that falsifying business records was a felony. I thought it was misdemeanor because a lot of these things were misdemeanors also. So I don't know. Well, I mean, it's 4 years for each charge, and he's 34. That said, the max they can give you is 20 years.